May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth. May all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, all and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desires for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Let us begin our meditation now with this metta thought. As we repeat, we focus our breath, mind on our breath, noticing inhaling as inhaling, exhaling as exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, rising, falling of breath. Along with the rising and falling of breath, we notice the feeling rises and falls. Our perception, recognition rises and falls. Our attention rises and falls. Consciousness rises and falls. All these rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall. When we notice them rising and falling without verbalizing, the body, mind, and breath all become calm, relaxed, and peaceful. In that state, whatever greed or desire is there, that fades away. New desire does not arise. And that is very peaceful state. In this state, the body, the breath, the mind become even calmer. When they are calm, relaxed, and peaceful, resentment does not arise, anger does not arise. We don't feed resentment or anger. When we don't feed them, rather we develop a calm, peaceful mental state. Friendly feeling arises. Friendly feeling and resentment do not exist together. When in the state of calm, relaxed, peaceful state, anger does not arise. Instead, metta feeling naturally arises. With this metta feeling, our body, the breath, and mind becomes even calmer and more relaxed. In that state, sometimes you may fall asleep. You feel sleepiness and drowsiness. The body and mind becomes heavy. That is the time that we have to arouse our energy, spiritual energy, to overcome sleepiness and drowsiness, arouse our energy to stay awake, alert and mindful. When we have more energy, sometimes it turns into restlessness and worry, thinking of the past or thinking of the future. But both extremes of the past and the future is not going to arouse insight, wisdom, understanding. So we have to focus the mind in the present moment. In the present moment we notice the breath, feeling, perceptions, attention, consciousness, rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall. That's how it happens all the time. Always they rise and fall, rise and fall. We stay with that state, and then still we may have some doubt with regard to this method. The Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, or at least you may have doubt about your own ability to achieve some success. However, you have already overcome greed, resentment, sleepiness and drowsiness, restlessness and worry. That is your success, which you experienced within yourself, by yourself, keeping your mind on the right track of mindfulness. Then doubt fades away. When all these hindrances, obstacles are out of your way, you feel very delighted, full of joy. Joy leads to happiness, which leads to concentration. When you gain concentration, you see the subtlest changes taking place in your feeling, the breath, attention, consciousness, contact, and all this you can see in their subtlest form, changing, changing, changing. Then all underlying tendencies subside and you stay in more calm and peaceful mental state. This is how it happens. This is the summary of mindfulness, instructions on mindfulness, and you can expand it yourself and see it happen within yourself, and continue your practice until I ring the bell. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now let us focus our mind on the answers to your questions. I have 2 questions. When I finished, my friend Prashant will ask me further questions if you have any. The first question is, does asking questions constitute doubt as in hindrances? What is the difference with investigation in the 7 factors of enlightenment? Now, asking questions constitute not as a hindrance. It is not a hindrance when you are, when something is not clear. Then one who wants to learn Dhamma, enthusiastic in Dhamma, interested in Dhamma, that person definitely must ask questions. Asking question is not a hindrance. Hindrance is you are not accepting anything, even if it is given with reasons and real related to Dhamma. One would not accept. That person has always doubt about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, parents, relatives, and whether there is a benefit in giving and so forth and so on. There are very many places where one has doubt. Asking question in order to clarify doubt is a very important factor which is encouraged by the Buddha. Buddha himself said, where there is doubt, where there is unclarity, doubt arises. So asking question to clarify those doubts is one of the factors of enlightenment. Second factor of enlightenment, that is investigation of Dhamma. When you investigate, you certainly have to ask questions. If you don't ask questions in your own mind, or you ask question a friend, a teacher, and so forth, is a very important thing for you to proceed in your fact of enlightenment, of investigation. So you can see the difference between these two. The second question is, does conceit in the higher fetter has identify view element as in the lower fetter? In the lower fetter, conceit, what you call conceit. Conceit in lower fetter is very gross And it is in any ordinary mundane life people can have that conceit, or that people say, I am proud. I am proud of such and such a thing. I am proud of my achievement, proud of my children, proud of my country, proud of my wealth, and so forth and so on. That kind of pride is a fetter, lower fetter. To be proud for, of anything is a lower, down to earth fetter. It will hurt the person. If somebody does not accept that person's suggestion, views, opinions, recommendations, person gets very upset because of this conceit. The person is so proud. The in the higher fetter, it is not even called conceit. It is called asmimana. Very subtle, we may call conceit, but very subtle thought of I am. Thought of I am. That is very subtle, almost very refined state of belief, residues of I am. First is Sakkaya and then Sakkaya is a belief that there is a permanent self, as we discussed earlier, 20 types. But higher fetter is called Mana Uddhacha Avidya Mana. That Mana is the subtle, very refined form of I conceit, I. That is called I conceit. Therefore, the difference is between these two. One is the lower fetter is before attaining stream entry, one has lower fetter. And that is detrimental to spiritual growth. And not only in this life, life after life, it brings suffering. Higher fetter is very refined. Anytime one can destroy it because the person has attained 3 levels of enlightenment. Anagami level. After Anagami level remains only one level, that is called Arahanta level. In Arahanta level, the conceit is simply the inner feeling of I am. Therefore, it is very subtle, not the same, different. Okay, any other question, Prashant?
Bhante, can everything that happens in our life be attributed to past karma?
No.
Okay. Also, how does our response to what happens affect our future lives? Could you explain with an example?
Okay, now one example is what we experience in this life is all cannot be attributed to karma. For instance, Now the whole world is suffering from virus. Sometimes people might think that is the what you call danger of collective karma, results of collective karma. I don't believe in that. This happens uh, natural. No one knows the cause, but many people are affected by this virus. Some even died, some recovered, uh, and some even are not affected. So, those who take precautions will not be affected. Face mask, social distance, and so forth, and not meeting with other people who are affected by this virus and so forth. So, from precautions, one can avoid it. Therefore, that is not previous results of previous karma. And if everything is due to karma, we have no way of liberating ourselves because we always are in it. But some of the things that we experience are the results of karma, not all. Okay? Any other question?
Bhante, how
Yeah.
to overcome restless thoughts despite focusing on breathing in and out? Thank you.
How to focus the thought?
Overcome restless thoughts despite focusing on breathing in and out.
Restless thought, when restless thought or restlessness arises, uh, we have to be very mindful. We become restless because of our past commitment. Sometimes we have done something incorrectly, incompletely, and therefore we want to finish that. And that creates restlessness in our mind. Or some anxiety. Say, for instance, someone may recollect, may someone suddenly think of death, and the person will die sooner or later. When person think of that, some people have so much fear, as I mentioned yesterday, that they become restless. They become sometimes their relatives die, they become restless and even angry and so forth. Something that bothers the person because of greed, emotional attachment, and so on. Greed, emotional attachment, ignorance. Uh, Therefore, with this, when these things are in us, restlessness can definitely arise. Or we might be thinking of what we are going to do in future for myself, for my family, for my country, at workplace, with my friends, how to go on a picnic, how to make such and such a call, write letters, this project, that project, of the future. When one of those things come to mind, restlessness can arise. Therefore, the Buddha's advice is don't think of the past, at least temporarily, when you are meditating. Don't think of the past because it is gone. It never comes back. Don't think of the future. Pachupannene yapenti tatta tatta vipassati. That means as things arises right now, this moment, as it arises, pay attention to it. Everything, something arises and passes away. Something arises and passes away. Something arises and passes away. All the time in the present moment. Focus the mind on that. Keep focusing on that mind. Then you will see everything has same Dhamma, same truth. Everything rises and falls. Everything rises and falls. This, the mind must be completely conditioned to see this reality happening right now in this present moment. So, what one should do, therefore, first take deep breath and slowly breathe out. Again, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. While doing so, keep your mind totally focused on the breath. Then you can see the breath is the very tiny little waves of air moving in and out. Minute waves, air moves in waves. These waves arising and falling. When you focus your mind on that for few minutes, all the restlessness, all the worries disappear. Your mind becomes very calm, relaxed and peaceful. And then think of peace. Upasamanusati in Pali, Upasama. Upasama means tranquility, peace, calm state. Focus your mind on that calmness you experience, peace you experience, tranquility you experience, equanimity you experience. Focus the mind on that. Then restlessness and worry fades away.
The next question is, what are your thoughts on the Pure Land? I think particularly that's a sect of Buddhism.
Well, that is a concept. Maybe somebody might be thinking in a figurative sense, metaphorically, like Nibbana is a state or peaceful state. Similarly, one may think of a land which is pure, not the land that exists, physical, with what do you call, earth element, air element, water element, fire element, but the very pure, clean mental state may be what they mean when they say pure land. Otherwise, physically, there can never be any pure land. That is what I understand.
Bhante. Bhante, at the root jhana of neither feeling nor perception, I wonder whether sankhara is still present. If all sankhara has ceased at Rup jhana of neither feeling nor perception, what happened to subtle mind consciousness?
The question is not very clear to me. Could you? There may be some what you call echo in your voice.
Okay, sorry, I'll try to repeat further more slowly.
Yeah.
So in the Arup jhana, so
Yeah.
basically formless jhana of neither feeling non nor perception, whether sankhara is still present, whether,
Ah.
whether it's
Yeah. Surely, neither in the Arupajana called neither perception nor non-perception state is considered to be the highest uh, attainment of concentration meditation. And even in that, although it is very calm and peaceful state, even in that state, ignorance is there. Avidya is there. Avidya is one of the avidya also is conditioned. It doesn't exist by itself. Avidya is conditioned by what you call underlying tendency called asava or influx. You can see in the Samadhi Sutta at the end, the avidya arises depending on the influx. Asava. Asava samudaya, avidya samudayo. So, avidya is conditioned by asava. Therefore, avidya also is condition or sankara. Avidya also is sankara. That avidya is not seeing the non-existence of permanent self. Avidya is not seeing the Four Noble Truths. Avidya is vidya. Vidya means understanding, knowledge, vision. The 16 ways of understanding explained in Sammaditi Sutta shows even avidya is a very subtle state, and therefore understanding that perfectly well will remove our what you call sankara, and therefore neither perception nor non-perception is not developed through mindfulness. It is developed only through concentration. In order to make the meditation perfectly complete, we have to have both mindfulness and concentration. That is why even when Siddhartha Gautama Bodhisattva practiced neither perception nor non-perception under Uddhagaramputra, he concluded Uddhagaramputra has not attained enlightenment, neither have I, because Uddhagaramputra does not practice mindfulness. Now I must practice mindfulness. That is the missing link that Buddha introduced, discovered in the meditation tradition to attain full liberation. And therefore, there is sankhara in neither perception and non-perception.
Bhante.
Okay?
Next question is, Bhante, after the meditation seems more settled and calm, the breath is experienced as smooth in and out breath. But subsequently, even the single in breath feels like it is a series of broken breath with little gaps in between, rather than a single smooth breath. Though I still perceive it as a single in breath and single in breath. Is this normal?
Uh, the question is little longer. Could you repeat it again?
Yes. So Bante, this meditator is asking that she feels calmness in the breath, a single in and breath, but as her focus becomes, her attention settles on it, she can start seeing the gaps, like it's in a broken part. Breath seems a little broken in between. Is this normal? Like, so she can observe all the different section of the breath.
I think observing all the fraction of the breath is a very good thing. All the fraction of the breath, knowing entire breathing process is a good thing. Not only one part inhaling. Sometimes people say you just, they introduce various things. I don't want to repeat. There are a lot of interpretation of that. Buddha's advice is sabbakaya patisangvedi asya iti sikkati sabbakaya patisangvedi pasya iti sikkati. Knowing entire breathing, being mindful of entire breathing, breathe in and breathe out. So if it breaks into pieces, into segments, be mindful of the entire thing. But don't try to make a gap one inhaling, between one inhaling, there are no different links. Within one exhaling, there are no different links. But if the mindfulness and concentration are very sharp, one may notice the waves of air moving in, many thousands of waves of air moving out. Knowing that is very good thing.
And the next question is it through reflection that we understand which of the five hindrances arises?
Reflection on what?
Is it through the reflection that we understand which of the five hindrances are arising? Like we have to reflect on, like,
Yes, yes. Attention. Attention. Only when we pay attention we know what is going on. If we do not pay attention, no matter how many things should be going on in us, we don't know. That is why Buddha said, Manasikara Sambhava Sambedamma. All the phenomena becomes manifest, visible, knowable only when attention is given to them. That is why so many things are happening within us. We don't know. Why? Because we don't pay attention. And therefore we must pay attention. Only when we pay attention we can see, experience, know them, even though they are going through our body and mind. We don't know. Hindrances, fetters, and so forth and so on. All kind of unwholesome states of mind, wholesome states of mind are coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. Only when we become aware of them, we can know them well. And therefore, paying attention to them, we can identify whether it is wholesome or unwholesome. We very unmindfully talk, unmindfully think, unmindfully act. Therefore, we don't know whether they are wholesome or unwholesome. Therefore, paying attention is absolutely necessary. I think that is end of our time. Thank you very much for asking these questions. And let me conclude this morning's session. You asked me good questions. May all those who are currently suffering in hospitals be free from those suffering and recover very quickly and return to normal life. And those doctors, nurses, hospital staffs who very compassionately dedicate their life to even sacrificing their own risk health, they take risk to take care of these patients. May they continue their wonderful service and be free from this virus. May all those who are supporting in financially continue their generous support. Those who are suffering from their loved ones and they've been grieving, may they be free from their grief by understanding Dhamma and continue their life in very, very good health. Those leaders who have taken leadership to help people in many ways continue their far-sighted, insightful leadership. And others who are supporting in many ways, may they continue their support. And overall, everybody, without any exception, any discrimination, everybody be well, happy, and peaceful. Live long in very, very good health. Thank you for participating in this. Thank you, Prashant.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank you,
Sadhu,
Bhante.
sadhu.